Thank you. To our meditation circle. I thought I'd say something about the circle. The circle is a universal symbol with extensive meaning. It represents the notions of totality, of wholeness, original perfection, the self, the infinite, eternity, timelessness, all cyclic movement, God. God is a circle whose center is everywhere and whose circumference is nowhere. That's a saying attributed to the ancient Greek mystic and philosopher Hermes Trismegistus. I'll repeat it. It bears repeating. God is a circle whose circumference is everywhere. Sorry. God is a circle whose center is everywhere and whose circumference is nowhere. As the sun, it is masculine power. As the soul and as an encircling waters, it is the feminine maternal principle. It implies an idea of movement and symbolizes the cycle of time, the perpetual motion of everything that moves, the planet's journey around the sun, the circle of the zodiac, and the great rhythm of the universe. The circle is also 0 in our system of numbering and symbolizes potential for the embryo. It has a magical value as a protective agent and indicates the end of the process of individuation, of striving. According to Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, the circle is the antithesis of the square, which is the lowest state of man who has not achieved inner perfection, standing for the ultimate state of oneness with octagon in between. The circle of necessity is birth and growth, decline and death. Hopefully no time soon for any of us on the call. So, we're here, as usual, to ponder our purpose. Ponder our purpose. That has a kind of a ring to it. So, meditation is a process to clarify our vision, to become peaceful, to become calm, to become centered within the circle of life. If you've seen The Lion King, there's a beautiful song in it about it's the circle of life. The circle. We are part of that circle. We are within that state of God, which, as Hermes Trismegistus has said, whose center is everywhere and whose circumference is nowhere. That's a kind of puzzle, isn't it? But we are here to solve puzzles. We're not here just to be playthings of destiny, although it seems like it at times. According to the ancient perennial philosophy that has come out of India, it is said that our life is based on karma or action. Buddha said that everything in the universe is a result of a just law, the law of cause and effect, the law of karma. So there are different types of karmas. There are good karmas and bad karmas. There are karmas which determine our life. They're called pralabdha karmas or fate karma, about which we can do little or nothing. Certain things we're, where we're, when we're born, what family we're born into, some of our circumstances in life, we have no control over. And that's said to be about 75% of our life is based on that predetermined. I think in the Middle East, it's called kismet, or kismet. Fate, baby. So that is pretty immutable, very difficult to change. It's based on our past existences in various forms of creation, in various forms of life. If you believe in the theory of reincarnation, according to reincarnation, we had certain actions in the past that really predetermined our life in this existence. Our status in life, our families in which we're born, our birth, our youth, our health, and ultimately our death. And then there's another type of karma, it's called the kriyaman. Kriyaman. Kri means to do. The doing karma, all right? This is where we have, we exercise our free will. So the kriyaman karmas are what we make of our life. And that's said to be about 25%. So we can make or we can spoil our future by our present activities, our thoughts, our words. And so we have to be very careful what we do in the present moment of our life, because that will have ramifications for our future life. And then there's a third type of karma, which is called sanchit, or stored. And this is where all those particular deeds and actions that we committed in our previous existences are stored, and they kind of lie there and wait for an opportunity to express themselves in our lives. So it's a very complex system. Shakespeare has said, because he had great insights into life, Shakespeare said, "Oh, what a tangled web we weave," right? "Oh, what a tangled web we weave." Like a spider, or you might say like a weaver that's weaving on a loom. And when the strings of the loom become very tangled, of course, you're not going to have your desired results, whether it's a rug or clothing or whatever, or it's just basically the future of our life. So we are the authors, to a great extent, of our own misfortune or our own good fortune. So we can choose our action in life, which will determine the outcome down the road. So meditation is kind of like what's called ne-karma, which means it is kind of pulling back from the whole process. It's where you're in a state of not creating karma. So really, meditation is that practice that is withdrawing from the activities that will either influence our life in one way or the other. It's a state of equipoise, reaching a state of inner calm and inner peace. And really, that's why we meditate. It's to become withdrawn from all of the struggles that we go through in our life, from all the daily dramas, with family, with friends, with coworkers, with our bosses or our subordinates. This all happens to us, as it were. And so meditation is kind of like breaking the chain. It's like stopping the process that's bringing us into this state of individuation, from the many to the one. And if we go from the many, as some one, I can't remember his name, the poet has said, I think it was Shelley, the great British poet, he said, life is a dome of many-colored glass that stains the white radiance of eternity. I mean, that cat must have been really in tune, to say something like that several hundred years ago. Well, truth is timeless, really. And whoever taps into that truth enters into a kind of timelessness where wisdom dawns. And wisdom has never been confined to any particular time in history. It's never been confined to any one individual or race or religion. So life is a dome of many-colored glass which stains the white radiance of eternity. So what happens when we really go inside, when we achieve transcendence, when we transcend the limitations of our small little individual self? We then enter the white radiance of eternity, a brightness. And if there's anything less than that purity, and that effulgence, it is really kind of a contamination of the mind. The mind is likened in Eastern philosophy, that they say the mind doesn't have any life of its own. It just is like the moon. It has no light of its own. It just reflects the sun. And so the mind is more like a parasitical plant that sometimes smothers the light of the soul, the Atman, within. So if there's any impurity in there, and there is any stain on that brightness of our reality, our true self, it is basically the colors of the mind that prevent it from achieving that total transcendence. So the more successful we are in meditation, the more we're cut off from the idea of our individual self. We're cut off from the senses, we're cut off from basically the outside stimuli. And we're entering into another world. We're entering into a world of light, where we travel with the speed of thought. We travel in a place that is somewhat breaking down the barriers of the mind and allowing the spirit, the light, to flow through. And then you can really understand, through meditation, that saying by Hermes Trismegistus, I can't pronounce it, Trismegistus, where we enter that state of kind of God realization, that God is a center whose center is everywhere, and whose circumference, the border, is nowhere. There's no border. It's all gone, and you are that. So with all these highfalutin words, I'd like to share with you some very profound meditation instructions that were given to me and to others by my spiritual teacher many, many years ago, back in the 60s. Okay. So he said that meditation Yeah. I would invite you to close your eyes now. Thank you. And maybe I'll turn off the camera here so you're not distracted by moi. Meditation is the process of withdrawing the attention from the world outside and focusing it at the seat of the soul in the body, behind and between the eyebrows. This point is known as the inner eye, the third eye, the single eye. And Jesus said, "If thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be filled with light." In order to withdraw our attention and focus it on this point, mind must be controlled and stilled. Sit in one pose and move not your head, limbs, or eyes. Sit straight but relaxed, with no tension in the body below. Sit still, please. Close your eyes as in sleep and look sweetly, lovingly, intently into the middle of the darkness lying in front of you. You will see a dark veil. That which sees the dark veil within without the help of your physical eyes is the inner eye. Do not put any strain on your physical eyes or turn them upwards. Pay no attention to the breathing process. Just let it go on naturally. You know, this is, he says, here he's talking to the initiates. He said, those who are initiated, repeat the 5 charged names one by one, very slowly, mentally, internally, at intervals, so that your inner gaze is not disturbed. Those of you who have not been initiated, just sit in sweet remembrance of the divine. Repeating with the tongue of thought any name of God or saint which you hold dear. So this is an invitation to anyone. Yeah. He said, as you look within, you will see a sky or a blue sky. If you look minutely into it, you will find it studded with stars, or you may see pinpoints of light. If so, try to locate the big star out of them and fix your whole attention on that. Then you may see the inner sun or moon. If so, focus all your attention into the middle. It will break into pieces and you will cross it. Beyond that, you will see the radiant form. Become the eye itself. Go on looking constantly without a break. Any effort on your part stands in the way. Let yours be an effortless effort. And you will find that your soul or spirit will be withdrawn from the body. And then, of course, from there, you're going to experience whatever you experience. And I wish you all the best, and we'll sit for about 8 or 9 minutes, and then I'll call you out of meditation. Thank you. Hello. Please come down gently from meditation. And I'd like to thank you all for joining today, for your open-mindedness and interest in such things. I certainly wish you all the very best in the week ahead, and look forward to having you join us again in next week at this time. So all the best. Namaste.
Thank you, Arran.
Thank you, Arran.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.